welcome to Barron's Restaurant at the Conrad N Hilton College of Hotel and Restaurant Management at the University of Houston. My name is Christy Baker, and I'm one of the instructors here. In Barron's, we teach students how to run and manage a restaurant from front of house to back of house. I've created several training segments on how to provide proper service to our guests. For this segment, we will be training on how to provide proper beverage service for both iced beverages and hot beverages. For more information on how to properly take a beverage order, please see the segment on order taking. There are specifics about taking a beverage order in addition to the overall standards that we want to meet when taking orders from our guests. We typically look at beverage service in two different categories: alcoholic and non-alcoholic. We then look at non-alcoholic beverages in terms of hot and cold. Each beverage has its own unique way of being served. Today, let's talk about some generalizations that apply to all cold beverages and hot beverages. To begin our training on beverage service, let's talk about some of the service standards that pertain to all beverages. All beverages are served on the right using the right hand whenever possible. The only time that you would deviate away from this rule is if you could not reach the guest's right side with your right hand comfortably. In that situation, you would then just apply open arm service, serving from the left with the left hand. We always want to avoid reaching across the guest or putting our elbow in the guest's face. Another standard that we follow when it comes to beverage service is that all beverages, non-alcoholic, should be served within 4 minutes of the guest ordering them. We usually allow 2 to 3 more minutes for alcoholic beverages, since it takes the bartender more time to prepare these drinks. The next standard that we want to follow when providing beverage service to our guests specifically deals with iced beverages. We want to fill the cup all the way to the top with ice. We also want to offer our guests a straw. When serving iced beverages, such as iced tea or water, we also want to ask the guest if they would like a lemon wedge. We do not bring this out without asking first. For hot beverages, we will ask the guests if they would like creamer with their coffee, or cream, honey, or lemon with their hot tea. We'll want to specify if they would like green or black hot tea. In most restaurants, you would also want to clarify if the guests would like regular coffee or decaf. Here in Barron's, we only serve regular coffee. For hot beverages, we also want to make sure that we preheat the cup that we will be serving the coffee or hot tea in. Hot food hot, cold food cold also applies to beverages, so preheat that cup with hot water for about 10 seconds. We also want to make sure and pour the coffee away from the guest. We will pour it to the side of the table. This is a safety precaution to make sure that we don't pour hot coffee on our guests. The last standard that I would like to cover before we go on to demonstrating how these standards are performed is the fact that we will always serve ladies first. Just as when we're taking an order, ladies are served first, from their right using our right hand. If you can tell if there is an older lady in the group, serve oldest to youngest before moving on to the gentleman, serving them oldest to youngest as well. Let's demonstrate exactly what this would look like. As you can see on the table before you, the beverage napkins have already been placed. We'll assume the guests have already ordered and we're ready to deliver their beverages. For this example, we'll start with iced beverages. For this example, we'll pretend the lady in seat 2 has ordered an iced tea and the gentleman in seat 3 has ordered a Coke Zero. Ma'am, your iced tea. Would you care for a straw? Sir, your Coke Zero. Would you care for a straw? There you are. Enjoy. Anytime we place a food or beverage order in front of the guest, we want to announce what we are placing in front of them. This is a second point of confirmation that we're providing them with the right item. The first point of confirmation was when we were taking the order. If we have brought them the wrong item, they're aware immediately and can let us know so that we're able to fix it as quickly as possible. You'll notice that when I delivered the Coke Zero to the guests, that I brought an additional beverage napkin and just placed it beside the one that was already there. This helps prevent the buildup of condensation on the table, as the bottle and the cup of ice will sweat. Let's now switch to hot beverage service. For hot beverage service, there's several things that you need to bring to the table, depending on whether the guest ordered hot tea or hot coffee. We ask all the important follow-up questions when we're taking an order, such as would you like cream, honey, or lemon? Do you need sweetener? Would you like decaf or regular? Or would you like black tea or green tea? Here in Barron's, we only offer regular coffee. There is no decaf. And for our teas, we have black tea and green tea. I'll show you a close-up in just a moment of specifically what needs to be brought out when you're delivering coffee or tea to the table. For now, I would like to demonstrate how coffee service is done here in Barron's. We'll deliver the cup and the saucer to the table, placing the handle at 4 o'clock. That allows for ease of grip and usage. We'll do the same thing with the creamer. We're going to provide an extra spoon. We will then pull the cup away. Step away from the guest when you're pouring the coffee. This is a safety practice to prevent the guest from being splashed with hot coffee. When you return it, make sure that handle is right back at 4 o'clock so that the guest can easily grab it to drink. Please note again that I have the beverage tray in my left hand so that I could serve the guest on their right side using my right hand. For coffee service, you're going to bring out a preheated cup, fill it with hot water, and leave it for about 10 seconds, and then pour it down the sink. You'll also want to bring a saucer, an additional spoon, a creamer container filled halfway full with cream, and the coffee pot. Let's now demonstrate hot tea service. Hot tea service is very similar to hot coffee service. We'll set the cup and saucer down on the guest's right side using our right hand, handle facing at 4 o'clock. We'll then put the creamer with the handle facing at 4 o'clock. The guest might also request honey or lemon, which would be brought out in ramekins. We'll also set the teapot with the handle facing at 4 o'clock. We need to provide the guest with their tea bag, just to the side of their cup, and an additional spoon. That is a lot of items to bring out for hot coffee or hot tea service. Imagine if each guest at the table had ordered hot tea or hot coffee. In that instance, we might only bring 1 or 2 teapots to save room on the table for the guest's food. We also want to try to place items as close together as possible, but not make it too cumbersome for the guest to grab each item. Here in Barron's, we do not brew the tea ahead of time for the guests. Some guests want their tea very strong, others will like it very light. So we simply bring the tea bag to the guest and let them brew it themselves. They also pour their own tea after the brewing time is completed. For hot tea service, you're going to bring out the saucer, the preheated cup, the tea bag of choice. So for this example, we've brought green tea, creamer if the guest has requested it. They could also request honey or lemon. These would need to be brought in a ramekin. The teapot filled with hot water, and the spoon on the napkin. Once the beverages have been delivered to the guest within 4 minutes of them ordering, we then just need to maintain the levels of the beverages throughout the rest of the dining experience. Here in Barron's, we do refills tableside. The only refill that we would need to do in the side station is for the teapot. We would simply remove the teapot, take it back to the side station, and refill it with hot water. Hot coffee and iced beverages can be refilled right next to the guest. You can either bring a tray or just bring the pitcher in your hand if you only need to bring one. You'll remove the beverage from the table using your right hand, refill it, and then return the beverage back to the guest. For hot beverages, make sure that handle is at 4 o'clock. For iced beverages, we will pull the cup away, refill it, and then return it to the guest's right side using our right hand. Please note how low I hold the cup.
we always want to hold it at the bottom third. Here or above can make guests think that that's how we handle our guests, both in the front of the house and the back of the house. The perception is that we're putting our hands where their mouth goes. Whether they use a straw or not, it's a perception thing, and perception is reality in one's own world. So make sure and grab that cup low, whether you're in the back of the house or the front of the house. Beverages are typically left on the table all the way through the dining experience, even up until the point that the guests have left. At the end of the dining experience, the only thing that should be remaining on the table are the guest beverages. At that point, we no longer need to follow the right on right rule. We can simply bring a cocktail tray, load up the beverages, and carry them away. We do, however, want to continue to hold the glassware at the bottom, or the stem if you're using a wine glass. Let's review. For proper beverage service, we want to deliver all beverages on the right side of the guest using our right hand, when possible. If you can't do this, serve from the guest's left side using your left hand. Remember, we always want to hug the guest, never elbow them. For hot beverage service, we want to make sure and ask the guests if they would like cream, honey, or lemon, and bring that out along with their hot tea or hot coffee. We also want to provide them with an additional spoon so they don't have to use their food spoon to stir their coffee or tea. For iced beverages, we want to fill the cup all the way to the top with ice before adding any tea or water. For sodas, we bring out an additional cup of ice. For each guest that has ordered an iced beverage, we want to offer them a straw that is completely wrapped. Beverages should be delivered within 4 minutes of the guest ordering them. For that to happen, we have to work very efficiently, and the side station has to be organized. We suggest working from right to left. Start on the right side of the beverage station to grab your cocktail tray, grab your ice, fill your drinks, and then head on out to the floor. Thank you for joining us for this segment of Beverage Service Training.